Hey everybody, this is Chris Boardwine with Davie County Diggers. I want to say thanks so much for tuning in today. This is a different type of video from me, so bear with me if you would. I've got something that's on my mind, has been for about the last day or so, that I just wanted to talk with y'all about for just a moment. And that involves paid group relic hunts. Are they a good thing? Are they a bad thing? Is it a right fit for you? What I thought I would do is offer up some insight about some of my personal experiences with group hunts, and hopefully that can offer you enough information to make an informed decision on your own about whether or not you want to participate in them. So I think that paid group relic hunts have gotten popular or more popular over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. There's certainly some event organizers out there that have been doing it a lot longer than that. But I think that the popularity has gotten much more so in the last 4 or 5 years. So the premise behind a paid group hunt is pretty self-explanatory. You've got an event organizer or organizers, and they approach a landowner and offer some type of financial incentive to allow a group of detectorists to come onto the property for a period of time. The event attendees pay a fee to the organizer, and then the organizer pays some money to the landowner, and then whatever's left, they keep. Generally speaking, prices for a group hunt range anywhere from $200, I've seen as high as $350 for a group hunt. So it's not a small amount. It's a pretty good sized chunk of change. Most of the hunts that I have been on started on a Friday morning and went on to Sunday afternoon. So about 3 full days of relic hunting. Some go a little longer, some go a little shorter, but I think that by and large, the 3-day hunt is pretty standard. Some of the group hunts that I've been on, we actually had to be off the property at a certain time each day, whether that be 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then on one of the group hunts that we went on, the event organizer allowed the folks to tent camp or RV camp, so you could metal detect all night if you wanted to. So couple different ways that I've seen it done. There are a couple really good positives to group relic hunts that I thought I'd share with you, at least in my opinion. The first being the fellowship. When I first started relic hunting, I was a sponge in terms of wanting to soak up as much information from other folks as I could. And I did that by and large by reaching out to some folks on social media. And when I went on my first paid relic hunt, some of those folks were at that hunt, and it was just so cool to make those friendships and build some relationships. And for me, that was just super, super cool. The second thing that I think is just awesome about paid group hunts is the ability for some folks to get onto permissions that they wouldn't normally be able to do. So a lot of these group hunts are centered around either Rev War or Civil War. And there's a lot of folks that are interested in doing that geographically where they live, it just is prohibitive to them. They just live in an area where there is no Rev War activity or Civil War activity. So they can travel and participate in a paid group hunt and get the opportunity to do that. I think that there's also some folks that are either new to the hobby or aren't as comfortable getting permissions, that it's simpler and easier for them to just pay to participate in a group hunt and not have to worry about trying to get those permissions. So for me, those are two really good positives about group hunts. When I think about the organizers of these events, for me, I kind of lump them into 3 categories. The first category is an organizer that has great intentions, has great motives, wants to put on a great hunt. Maybe they're new to event organizing. Maybe every single detail of the event doesn't come off flawlessly, but it's evident to anyone that participated in the hunt that the event organizer had tried and done their best. To those type of organizers, I say, do your thing, keep doing your thing, and every one that you do, you'll get better at. So positive vibes being sent your way. The second group of folks that I want to talk about as organizers are some of the salty old dogs that I've talked about that have been doing this for 20 some years. They've got event organizing down to a science. They know exactly how to pull off a well-ran, well-organized hunt. And those event organizers are very, very successful. Because let's face it, people are not going to come back year after year if they feel like they're getting scammed. If they're getting put on permissions that don't have any relics. They're just not going to do that. So to those relic organizers that have been around for a long time, putting on good quality event after good quality event, my hat's off to you. It's just a ton of planning. There's hundreds and hundreds of hours of planning that goes into some of these events. And again, kudos, you're doing a good job. The third category of event organizer, I'm not going to mince words. I've seen the word unscrupulous thrown around on social media over the last 24 hours, and I'll let you make that decision about whether or not unscrupulous fits. But let me just say that there are event organizers out there that I think are more interested in their own financial gain than they are about whether or not they're putting on a good event that's positive for their event attendees. And that's really sad to see. Some of the things that we have seen and read about over the course of the last couple of years are relics being planted on some of these group hunts, and then they're being dug up and made to look like those relics were there when they weren't there. We've heard and read about some folks that participated in some of these events that were told that certain parts of a property were available to them, only for that not to be the case. We actually read about one instance where some folks were relic hunting and another property owner came over and said, "What are you doing out here?" And they got ran off. A event organizer should know the boundaries of every single hunt that they're putting on like the back of their hand. It should be marked clearly. There should be maps handed out. Folks should not have any question about where the property boundaries are that they are hunting. These are just a few of the things that we've heard about over the course of the last few years with some event organizers that I wouldn't recommend. Some of the terms that I read recently are folks that felt scammed. So it's kind of a black eye on the relic hunting community, and to me that's sad. There is a Facebook group titled Seeded and Natural Hunt Reviews. I am not personal friends with the admins. I don't know them, but it is a good forum, if you're a member of it, to be able to go on there and read reviews about whether or not some events that have gone on were good or bad. So if you're thinking about participating in a group hunt, I would definitely encourage you, do your homework, do your homework, do your homework. Know which one of those type of organizers is putting on an event before you do it. Obviously, I would stay away from the unscrupulous ones. The other two categories, I wouldn't have any problems participating in one of their events. If you go onto that group that I just mentioned and you don't find the information that you're looking for, there's other folks in the relic hunting community that will help you. Ask some questions. We can let you know what we know about some of the events that have taken place before. One thing I want to say about group hunts is don't ever go on a group hunt just for the relics. I think if you do that, you're going to be disappointed. There are some folks that go on paid hunts that dig some absolutely spectacular relics. I've seen a guy dig a bugle, a Civil War bugle. I watched a guy that had dug a Civil War belt plate. There was one gentleman that dug like 400 and some Civil War bullets out of one hole. So when you get onto a good permission, obviously you've got the chance to dig something spectacular. And if you go on some of these group hunts, chances are that you will see some things get dug spectacular. But I don't want anyone to get caught up in that and think that you're going to come home from every paid group hunt with your pockets loaded down with awesome relics, because generally speaking, that just doesn't happen. Every group hunt that I've been on, I have dug some cool things, some buttons and bullets and whatnot, but it's not like that's the main reason I went. I went to meet people and to make relationships. So folks, you work hard for your money. Inflation is such these days that it's harder and harder to get by. So I don't want to see anybody feel like they get scammed out of their hard-earned money going on to a hunt and it doesn't end up being what they thought it was going to be. So again, my advice to you, ask questions, do some research, Know the type of organizer that you're dealing with before you get there. If you do those things, I think you can have some really, really positive memories and events happen with these group paid hunts. So that's all that was on my mind tonight. I just don't want to see anybody in the relic hunting community get worked over. So drop me a comment. Let me know. Have you been a part of a group hunt? What was good? What was bad? Would you do it again? So anyhow, thanks guys for listening to me. Travis and I will be on another hunt again here real soon. Look forward to sharing that with you. Take care now.